don't take that personally, because that is just the dice of life. Sometimes you land on a 6, sometimes on a 7, just don't understand how that's even a side of a die. You are watching Nico Evaluates. I'm a video game critic, analyst and QA tester with over 29 years of experience on Mega Man games. You have arrived at the source of honest criticism. Hello people, and welcome to the Nico Evaluates anger management class. And today we'll be tackling Rockman Forte. Calm players always make the better decisions. If you lose your temper, you're gonna rush things, and the only way that you can find your inner peace is by being calm. And today I thought we showcase this with an easy example of Rockman Forte gameplay. Okay, that doesn't make much sense, that pressing start would not bring you to the next screen even with it highlighted, but that's okay. And you cycle through the empty slots, that's just to showcase that there's gonna be weapons there at some point, or items. Whatever the game decides. That's a funny looking bet. A lot of them. So we calmly dispose of the enemies here. There should be no problems as long as we take our time and look at the beautiful background. Look at the shading there, it's the parallax scrolling. Why, it's mind-blowing if you ask me. What is this down here? Look. What is this? Some beautiful etching. I don't know what that is, but it should not bother you. As long as you can find purpose in life, you don't have to find purpose in games. Whoa, that is a big explosion which can cause some irritability, but I assure you it's gonna be fine. Oops. Sometimes you can fall through things that look like the ground, so just make the best of it and try to learn from the experience. Sometimes a lot of shots are required to dispose of enemies, but that only teaches you that you can't always rush through life. You have some moments in there where it's best to take it all in and smell the air. It'll give you answers as long as you want to receive them. If you're not in the mood, I understand that sometimes you feel like you're not up to it, but when you ask nicely, better times will come. It's taking quite a long time, but sometimes obstacles are meant to be overcome by the sheer amount of patience that grows on you. And look here. Here are the easier times, look. And here's your little prize for sticking with it and going through the challenge. Like I said, when you wait for the difficult times to be over, then you're gonna get a prize. And sometimes you can leap over the hard parts. It's what the game is telling us. And I think it makes a lot of sense, and there use the abilities you have in the best way possible to tackle these obstacles here. And remember, we saw this happen last time where we dropped through the floor. So just try and have a guess where the holes might be, and you can find inner peace that way. And don't worry, if you're not fast enough, you can try again. Even if that means falling a bit further down than you thought. That's just life. Sometimes you have to take one step forward and 3 steps back. See, if you're just calm, I don't think anything can harm you. Just having a calm mind through all this is what keeps us afloat. Such as we learned from the movie It. They all float. There's the hole again. Silly me. Just goes to show you that even once you've learned all the things in life, you can still fall back down. No matter how skilled you are, you can still fail. It only means you have to try harder, and the next time it happens, you're sure to overcome it. Okay. And that's how you take enemies out without any proper introductions. You just try your best. So what would you do here? Well, take damage and drop on spikes and then not die. That's what we've learned. And it makes sense that the game works that way. Just being calm should eventually grant you the prize of being better at the game. See, once you start blaming the game, or blaming the enemies, you've lost the game of mind. See, that's where you start to give it up. Let the game win. It's not what we want. It's not what the society wants. Of course, here, nimble feet are beneficial to dodge these. And sometimes rushing it can be the best option. Just be sure not to rush in your life. Rushing leads to a lot of sadness that... Well, we just missed some prizes there, but that's okay. Sometimes you realize later what you've missed. Once you go through your life, you realize, hey, I should have done that 10 years ago, but I didn't. Well, then that just means that you have more to learn. And such as there, no matter how well you do, sometimes there are just obstacles that don't want you to succeed. There are obstacles that you didn't see coming. It's just the way life works. Sometimes you just can't see that happen, so you just have to understand that life is full of surprises, and to overcome those problems you need to go get back on your feet and try again. There would not be any good times if it were not for the bad times. Just try and make the best of it. Play the best of your abilities and you'll get there someday. Okay, you can't make that jump, so what do you do here? Well, try to think of the aspects which you go by in life. For example, here you have a tool which you should probably use. And still, even if you do it correctly, you can still suffer, but don't take that personally, because that is just the dice of life. Sometimes you land on a 6, sometimes on a 7, just don't understand how that's even a side of a die. And some things you don't understand, such as this. Just take care of it. And of course, sometimes life gives you a boss fight. And the best thing to do is just calmly dispose of them. It can take a little bit of time to understand how it all works. But once you fail and you take it in that maybe you weren't doing the things to the best of your abilities, you can start to realize that you should maybe switch up strategies a little bit. If something doesn't work 5 times you do it, well, maybe try something else. Yeah, like that. Sometimes life does a lot of damage to you. Fuck! Had enough of that shit! And this is where we go to our happy place, which is another level. It benefits nobody that your anger comes in between you and the game. If you let the game get you angry, the game has essentially won. You're a loser if that happens. So you better just learn from that experience and not get angry. Sometimes you land on enemies. Sometimes you take a hit no matter what. But that's the beauty of video games. You can't always win. See, the music is pretty soothing, and it gives you the right mindset that even if there are problems bigger than you can overcome them by shifting your mindset. See, this here sometimes you have to wait for the problems to sweep away. Grab a pint, wait for all of it to blow over. That's how it works. Uh-oh, see? A little bit of mind problems and solving them as you go. See, if you carefully just look at things and not rush it, things should go well. You get prizes. That's just how it works. You have to look at the beautiful side of life, even if you're facing some difficulties. Why the fuck did... I mean, sometimes it just gets surprised. Where am I? Such as this miniboss here takes 520 shots, but once you just lay enough shots at it, it'll die. And that means you can proceed. And even with no telegraphs, it can be a fun time learning new things, learning new skills. And maybe next time when you come here, you're far better equipped. Not necessarily by weapons, but just skill. Skill alone. And while you're tackling bigger things in life, smaller things can pile up on it and it feels like your world is crushing itself on your ballsack. But I assure you that that feeling goes away once you try hard enough and try long enough and be persistent. Nobody has won a game by quitting. Unless they drop the mic. See how easy that is. No problems at all. Remember when I talked to you about the floors that collapse? Well, they're back, but they're a bit different here. But if you learned anything from our previous encounter with these fake floors, then we should be okay. Look, not even a grenade can hurt you when you're in your right mindset. That's a bit of a pickle. Not sure how to take care of that. So let's try and stop here and learn. So it does not activate when you're far away. So let's try rushing through it. That works. Sometimes you have to rush through things to learn. And pick the correct path, of course. Now here's a puzzle such as you would find in life. We have a weapon we can use here to get this power up. Whoa. And now with minimal effort we can perhaps do this. Just be mindful of the amount of shots you're shooting, and that way I can assure you it'll go fine. See, when you don't let the game get a throat grasp of you, it's a lot easier. Just be mindful of your own ways in life and how you go with your feelings and how you use them to your own benefit. If you lose your temper, things are gonna get really difficult for you. Even if you fail, sometimes the real life checkpoint is just there, so you can try again. So don't lose your encouragement if you happen to fail a few times. Sometimes you can just try from the same spot again. That's just how it works. And maybe by swapping the level, swapping the goal you're after in life, gives you the freedom to find something you succeed in, rather than cry about the things that you failed in. Maybe later you can go back to them and then nail them. There's no reason to quit the game. Just because you can't beat Burner Man should not be an obstacle between you and Ground Man. You should be able to just beat one of these bosses. And once you beat one of them, then you have more weaponry, such as in life. Sometimes maybe you don't want to clean the pool outside, maybe you want to vacuum inside, just don't feel like doing the other. Well, maybe just tackling one of those obstacles gives you good enough feeling that you'll then complete them both. That's just how to find the secret to being calm. There's no reason to stop trying. Sometimes it's okay to take a pause. If that's what makes you feel better, please take a break from it, but never let the Nintendo win. That was close. Sometimes things are close in life as well. And you realize it right after. Once the adrenaline goes down, you realize how close that was. And you start to appreciate things more. You start to appreciate how you've done thus far. And you get to learn that not everything always goes swimmingly, but once you're persistent, beautiful things come out of it.
Fuck this shit. Fuck that. What are you looking at?
Now, is this loaded? Nope. And that's the lesson for today, and I'll see you again next week.